the best advice that I have been given over my 71 years on this earth. This best advice is the most used advice that I give others in my coaching, and when I work with them, this advice just comes out. And so I begin to realize that these 5 pieces of advice were very important, and that I use some of them a lot today. I'm going to go over these. If you're new to my channel, I'm Rhonda. If you're coming back, thank you for watching. My mission here is to help you have a better relationship with yourself. So I'm going to get into this. The first piece of advice my daddy gave me, and he said, take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. You know, financial health is real important. And the relationship you have with your money is important. Today, the penny just doesn't mean a whole lot. But this is still true. And the idea behind this advice is, if you are smart with a little, you will be smart with a lot. And I think that to have that good relationship with money and to respect it. And this advice is still good today. I see a penny on the ground and I pick it up and I say, pennies from heaven. There's more where that came from. And I stick it in my pocket and I go on. The second piece of advice is, don't date anyone you wouldn't want to be married to. Now, I was in cosmetology school, 17 years old. And me and my friend, we were going to go on a date with these 2 guys that worked at the hamburger place across from the cosmetology school. And we were talking about it, and Miss Henry, she was old, real old. She's probably the age I am today, but we thought she was really old. But she looked at us and she said, don't date anyone you wouldn't want to be married to. And, you know, we just, Now, years later, I learned this to be so true. I was single and I had been dating some, and I just got to where I liked being single. Didn't really want to be married. Was okay not being married, because being codependent, I spent most of my life getting out of, looking for, my next ex is what I called it. And I knew my husband of today, and we started hanging out, and then we kind of started dating, and I thought, I just really didn't think that he was who I would be married to. I really didn't. He was younger than me, but we've been together 18 years. We've been married 15 this July. So, again, I use this a lot when I work with women who are dating. And this is one of the things that I tell them. Don't date anybody you wouldn't want to be married to. So, the next piece of advice I got was from my sponsor in a 12-step program. And she's kind of like a coach, mentor. I had the same sponsor for 23 years. And one of the things that she used to tell me was, when poop hits the fan, be sure you're on the back side of the fan. Well, what does this mean? Well, this means that for me to mind my own business, to stay in my hula hoop and take care of my stuff, the stuff I can control. I can't control anyone else, and I don't need to be getting all up into the drama of what's going on, because if I get in the middle of the drama, when the poop hits the fan, it's going to get all over me. So if I stand back, I learned, and this years ago, first thing I learned in that 12-step program was live and let live. And this is kind of the concept of the let them theory today. But I had to learn how to live my own life, stay in my hula hoop, mind my own business, and then I could let other people live their lives so that when their drama or their stuff or it all went down the crapper, I didn't have to be in the middle of it. Because, man, that was something. I seemed to be in the middle of all of that stuff. And I got to where I stepped out of that. Even to the point to where when I have friends that get divorced, I don't take sides. Or they break up, I don't take sides. I just don't. And it keeps me on the back side of the fan. I might smell a little bit of the poop, but it's not all over my face. The next thing, same person gave me this advice, is pray and get out of the way. And this is probably the most advice I use daily, all the time. Pray and get out of the way. So the concept behind this is I can let go and let God. I can pray about it and then let it go and get out of the way and let God work on the problem. You know, I want to control because I want what I want when I want it, or I don't want to lose what I have. So I can get very controlling, or I can try to fix something, or because I'm uncomfortable. And if I pray and get out of the way, if you're going to worry, why pray? And if you pray, why worry? I like the little story about the filing cabinet. There is a filing cabinet in heaven and it has my name on it. And I am struggling with this problem. And one day God decides he's going to fix it for me. And he sends his little angel over to the filing cabinet. And the angel goes through my files, looking. He goes back to God and he's all hanging his head and like shaking it. And God says, "What's up?" And the little angel says, "We can't work on Rhonda's problems today. She has the file." Pray and get out of the way. And if I can do that daily, my life's a whole lot better. The last piece of advice, which I think is probably the most important advice anyone ever gave me, and that was from my granny. Now, my granny was a hairdresser, and she was my person. I knew she loved me unconditionally, and I loved my granny. I loved going spending time with my granny, and I spent a lot of time there. And I got out of cosmetology school. We've got to work together. But I have great hair. I have always had great hair. And I got that from my paternal grandmother. This is my maternal grandmother. And she would come back from a hair show and she would want to do the latest haircut on my hair. And I can remember she came back one time and she was like, "Man, we saw this really cool hairstyle. It's called the shag. And I want to cut your hair like that." And I said, "Okay." I mean, I was used to it. I think that's why I have my hair long and it stays a lot the same, is because, man, I had every hairstyle under the sun because she would come back and cut my hair like that. And I said, "Granny, why do you go to those hair shows? You've been a hairdresser a long, long time." And she looked at me and she said, "When you think you know everything there is to know about this, you are on your way out." What sage advice. It holds true in every area of my life today. If I think I've learned everything there is to learn about whatever, finances, relationships, counseling, coaching, cleaning house, doing YouTube, whatever it is, I'm on my way out. So the most important thing is to stay teachable. You have to stay teachable and learn every day. As long as I know, I will never know because I'm not open-minded and I'm not teachable. And I just think that this is one of the most important pieces of advice that I have been given. I try to learn stuff all the time, and keeps me young. So if you like what I share here, please subscribe, hit like, Share this with somebody you think might enjoy it. And I'm going to post the next video up here of the 5 things I would tell my younger self. You could watch that. It kind of goes with this. Anyway, have a great day, and remember to be you on purpose.